Hey everyone, today I'm going to be taking a look at Terra Nil. This is a new game that came out about a week ago that is about terraforming the planet. Now basically Earth has become a wasteland and it is your job to reintroduce nature to the planet. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm just going to be showing you guys the very first level that you have access to kind of show you the basics of the game and then see if maybe the game is something for you. Now in total there are 4 different regions. You're going to be starting down here in the temperate, then going to move on to the tropical islands, then we have the glaciers over here in the north, and then we have the urban jungle. Once you've finished all 4 of the regions, you also unlock a alternative version of each region, which have their own separate difficulties as well, or their own specific challenges, I guess you could say, that are a little bit different from playing through it on the normal version. So the alternative versions have some extra thinking involved. Now each of these different regions have their own specific biomes. As you can see, we have 3 over here. This one has 4, and then we have 4 down here as well. They also have their animals that you have to reintroduce, and they also have climate thresholds. These climates will also vary depending on which region that you're in, of course, and you have different ways on getting there, but I'll explain that when we get to that. For now, we're going to be starting off with the river valley and kind of show you the basics of the game. So we have arrived, and as you can see, the very first step in any restoration endeavor is to restore water and plant life. We do so by using irrigators and pumps. Now, the first thing that we need to do is we have to go and get power, because of course you need something to power your structures. In this specific one, we have wind turbines, and as you can see, they can only be placed on these rocks over here. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to place one down. I'm going to be using my toxin scrubber to kind of cleanse the soil, and as you can see, oh, oops, that's the wrong button. Now we have workable soil to put structures on. I'm just going to kind of plant these around to get as much space as possible cleaned up. We can actually get quite far on this one. And then once we have our workable ground, we can, for example, place an irrigator on top of that to actually irrigate the place and create some greenery. Now for this specific region, that is the only thing that we have to do right now, get this greenery to 100%. So I'm just going to be placing around a bunch of energy places, and then I'm also going to be putting a lot of irrigators down to create our grasslands. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing right now. So as you can see, I have now almost reintroduced enough greenery into the world. There's still a lot of patches, but we're going to be able to clean that up later. Now, the reason why I'm coming back right now and not when this is finished is because I want to show you something else as well. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of barren pathways where we can put some water in there. So I'm going to be using a water pump to fill that up with water. Water will also up our humidity, which humidity is the one thing that we are going to be working with in this specific biome to kind of get our different climates going as well. So I'm just going to put some water pumps down to make sure that we have a lot of water flowing. And this is also something that we'll need later down the line when we go and recycle everything, because this specific region uses a boat to recycle all of your stuff. So I'm going to be seeing where I can place some more pumps down to make sure that we have enough water coverage. And this will kind of fill up everything, I think. Oh, it doesn't cover this a little bit. So I'm going to put down one more pump over here. And then we basically covered everything that I need to cover so far. Now the reason why I did that is because I have this patch over here and I would like to make this green as well. But we don't have power here. Well, we have a calcifier that I can place on the riverbed, and that will give me some cobblestone to work with. And that then allows me to finish this little patch over here as well that I would like to turn into some greenery. So there we go. Oh, we're only at 96. I'm just gonna place down one over here. This will get me to 100%. And then we move on to stage 2, which is where we're going to be reintroducing the different biomes. Now, every region has its own biomes. This one has 3 of them. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we get tab 2 unlocked, which gives us access to some new buildings. Now, I'm first going to be placing this down because it just gives us some bonuses. And then we can also keep track of our humidity over here. As you can see, these are all of the different climates that we can work with. And having rain happen can be quite good, but in some cases it can also be a detriment in some of the other specific regions. For example, in the alternative version of this region, having rain is actually kind of bad. but in this one we do kind of want it. So I can place these humidifiers around the map where I do have power for it. And of course, we also want some water that it can pull from. And then we can up our humidity. Now this one is full. Let me see if I can maybe place another turbine over there. So that way I can place one in here. As you can see, we reached 40%. So when I build a forest, I'm going to have fungi over there. You can already see the little flowers over here. That is because we have 20%, I believe. And you'll see some other things pop up as well, like for example the birds down here. That's because my humidity is high enough. And we'll create more humidity as we create more biomes. Now, what do we need? We want wetlands, we want our little flower patches, and we want forests. Now, I'm going to be doing the forest first. So, for a forest, we need charcoal. The way how we create that is by burning stuff down. So I'm going to do over here, then I'm going to be building a lot of flowers, because the flowers originate from a honeycomb that is built into a tree. But we can burn that down by placing down a sun disk and then intentionally burning the flowers. Oh, and those are only flowers on the bottom. That's actually not enough. I'm actually going to put some more grass over here, because otherwise this patch is not going to burn, and I do want this entire area to burn. So as you can see, that's going to start burning. The entire grass and all of its buildings are going to be destroyed as well. Actually doesn't go that far, but that is fine. I only needed this little patch over here, and why that is you'll see when I get to the reintroduction of the animal stage. And now that we have more trees, we can put more honeycombs into the trees. But I think I'm just going to keep it at that, because there are better places to reintroduce the fern as well. Now, let's do some wetlands, shall we? So I have this entire patch over here that I do want to turn into a wetlands. So I'm going to be putting down an irrigator, because you can only place this on an irrigator that is next to a source of water. And we're placing that like that. I'm also going to put the honeycomb in here to turn that into some flowery area as well. And I'm going to be looking over here to see where I can make more forest area. Now I'm thinking, because we do need a fair amount, I'm just going to place it down here. So I'm first gonna get me some more ground to work with, like this. There we go. I feel like that is probably a large enough area. Place down a sun disk, burn the flowers, and then that is going to pretty much destroy this entire area down here. Luckily enough, it is blocked off by the riverbed. Oh, unfortunately enough, all of these flowers are gonna go. Didn't realize this little section was open, but that is fine. We can rebuild where we need to. So first I'm going to be reintroducing a bunch of forest so that we can at least get that back. So this way our forest is now finished, but I do want to get my plants back. So what I'm going to do is I am going to be purifying this ground again. See, like this, there we go. Once that's finished, I don't think I can do it like this, can I? No, I can't. So I'm going to be putting down some irrigators to create our greenlands again. And then I can put some honeycombs into the trees, which will then give me my flowers back. And I can do that at the back of this as well. So I'm going to be purifying this ground. So can I place it here? I can. Put down an irrigator to make sure that our land is nice and clean. And I think I might just put one over here as well. There we go, we have a lot of grasslands now. So when I put honeycombs into the trees, this can all turn into a beautiful flower patch. And that is enough of the flowers that we need. Now the only thing that's left is for us to create more wetlands, which I have a lot of area to work with over here. So that's exactly what I am going to be doing. That is one, I need one more. This one is a little bit out of range, so I'm just going to be building a second one a little bit closer to the water, right here. And then that is all that we need for that. So now that stage 2 is done, we go into stage 3, which is reintroducing the animals and then also recycling all of the buildings that we have just used. Now, because I do want to kind of show you what climate can do, I'm going to see if I can maybe put down some more of these humidifiers to see if I can get all the way to 100%. Now, these do need to be powered, so I do need to make sure that I place them near a power source. See over here, 4%, I'm 2% short. Let's see if I can make that work. That's too close to another cloud seeder. Let me see if I can make one over here. So again, calcifiers to create cobblestone, to then place one of those, and then we have enough of that. So 70% is what I needed for the rain to return. And you'll see that the rain can actually turn these dry patches of land into grasslands as well. But we've basically done everything that we need to do right now. We just need to reintroduce our animals and then pack up our things and go. So to reintroduce our animals, we need an observatory, because otherwise we can't actually find them. So I'm going to place that down there. And then we have our different animals over here. Now, it's already going to show you what I need to scan for, because I've already played this region before and I've unlocked all of these animals. But before that, it kind of tells you what you need to look for. For example, this grazer lives in herds on wide open grasslands. So we need to go scan for some grasslands, which we have over here. Gonna scan that area. Tells me that we have found deer over here, and you can also see our deer running around right now. Then frogs, they want water or wetlands, and they want these flower beds. So we have wetlands and flower beds right here. That is enough for our frogs. Then we have our bears. They like forest, they like honeycombs, and it needs to be on elevation. So we have elevated land over here, it's a forest. And oh, this specific area that I scanned did not have honeycombs. This one does, so there we go, bears reintroduced. Now, as soon as you have reintroduced 3 animals, that is enough. You can move on if you want to do so. Of course, just like with your climates, if you want to 100% the area, you need to find the other animals as well. But I'll leave that to you to figure out for yourself, because I don't want to, of course, spoil everything on how you have to do this region. So, now that we've reintroduced our animals, it's time to pack up and leave. So I'm going to be building my airship, see if I have open space right here. I'm also going to be building our recycling drone, which is going to be a little boat. Now, in this specific region, everything is done by water, so I need to make sure that my drone has access to everything on a water side. So in this case, I want to kind of go over here, but it can't get the buildings on the left. So I'm going to be building a recycling silo instead, so it can get those buildings, and then I recycle everything, including the silo, with this little thingy right there. Let's see, this can reach over here. Get the buildings down here, and then it's literally just going to be pack up and leave. Now, as you can see, it can't reach here. Luckily enough, we can build a sluice gate over there, so now it can reach all the way up here. And then it's just going to be seeing if I can get everywhere. Now, the buildings over here might be a little bit tricky, so I'm going to see how I can get there. But for now, I'm just going to be picking up my things as I can. And if I do have to do something special, then I will come back to it, of course. So I have now recycled just about everything, and when there's only a few buildings left, it will show you with these arrows right here. But there's a little problem. These 2 buildings down here are out of reach of a water source, so I actually can't reach them, as you can see right here. It's just out of range. So I'm gonna kind of have to fix that. Now, I can build my own waterways, sort of. So I first need power for this. And I'm also going to have to use my drill for that. So if I do this like here, it's going to be shooting and excavating a little space for me to put some water in. And the water doesn't actually want to follow, so I'm going to have to put a water pump on here as well to kind of force it in there. And now I can reach there with my drone. Oh, I actually can't. Alright, let's build another one. So, second one over here. Shoot the laser beam straight through there, and hopefully we don't need to put another water pump in there. Oh no, we don't. It's actually going to follow, so that is just beautiful. So put it over there, put one down here, and then a third one over here, because we do need to pick up all of the buildings that we have just built as well. But as you can see, you do have to kind of be wary where you place all of your stuff. Because otherwise you're gonna have to go and make your own canals so that your boat can reach over there. So right now my boat is picking up the last few things that we have left, and then once it's finished everything, it is going to go back to our airship, and then we've basically packed up and left our stuff. So 100% recycling, and then once our boat arrives at the airship, we can go and leave this area behind and move on to the next region. So there we go, that is going to be a very quick playthrough of the very first region. Of course, there are 3 more regions. Every region also has an alternative version of it as well that does look quite different and also functions a little bit differently from your original playthrough of the region, which is actually quite fun to play through because you do have those new challenges and new ways that you have to think about going about getting your different biomes reintroduced. Because for example, in the alternative version of this, you don't have trees, so you have to go and create your own trees in a different way as well. But it's really fun, it's a very relaxing game. If you play it on normal mode, you can really create a world kind of like how you want it to look like, and then you can take some pretty screenshots as well if you want to do so. But it's just a really fun, relaxing game. If you do want a little bit more of a challenge where you have to worry about your resource management, you can play it on the hard mode difficulty of the game, but I've personally enjoyed it the most. Playing on the normal version, you can pretty much do whatever you want with it, but you do sometimes run into those issues where you do kind of have to worry about your resource spending, but for the most part, you can kind of just play around with it how you want to do so. Very fun, relaxing game, can definitely recommend you to check it out. I'll leave a link to the Steam page in the description down below. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for me. So I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my Patreons for their support, and I'll see you in the next one.